Storehouse was actually birthed in a local church called Belfast City Vineyard, and about 7 years ago or so it became clear to us that there were people in our city who were going hungry, and we weren't okay with that. It's not something that we were willing to just sit back and let happen, and so we began to think and dream, how could we impact that, how could we serve our city? And so Storehouse was born. Really simply, we asked our congregation to bring 1 or 2 extra items of food every week in their shopping and drop it in a trolley on a Sunday morning. And we started to put together emergency food bags. And right in those early days, we were working with one local charity to feed around 10 families every week. From there, we've grown over the last 6 or 7 years to being an independent charity in our own right, working with about 150 different referral agencies and community groups and charities across the city to provide somewhere in the region of 100 food bags every week, as well as 8 to 10 furniture deliveries and a whole bunch of clothes and other household goods.
So in particular, over the last 5 years, we've grown obviously substantially at a rate that we could never have really imagined. In the last year alone, we've provided over 5,000 food parcels to individuals and families throughout Belfast, which equates to approximately 94,000 meals over the course of the year, which is quite staggering, really. Our numbers continue to keep on going up rather than down, which is disappointing, but at the same time, we're very pleased that we can sort of facilitate that need. And the demographic of people that we would meet is quite broad. So we meet with homelessness, asylum seekers and refugees, drug and alcohol addiction, family support, family breakdown, lots of different areas of sort of poverty. And so it's not the sort of typical sort of areas that you would think of.
Over the last 2 years when we've been here, we have seen the numbers of people coming increase. We see people from all backgrounds. We see people who are homeless or at risk of being homeless. We see people who have their own home, have mortgages, and are up to their eyes in debt. So we see it's the all society we see here.
Well, I wouldn't say they're falling between the gaps in the statutory bodies, but certainly they have no safety nets that some of us might enjoy. You know, there's maybe no family connections, or they do have family, but they're in the same position. So we're trying to step in there where there are no other options for them, basically, where a lot of the rest of us might have savings, or we might have mum, dad, or brother or sister who's going to help us out, but some people just don't have that.
If you want it.
That's smashing. This is where all our donations arrive into, from churches, schools and businesses. They'll be brought down here and we'll sort them out into types, so food, clothes, furniture. Then our food gets broken down into various types of food, so tinned fruit, tinned fish, tinned meat. And then we have a preset food bag that we'll pack up for our service users to give to them. So we have 5 different sizes of bags, A to E, which will depend on the size of the family. So A might be 1 or 2 people, E will be mum, dad, 5, 6 kids. It's about 3 days emergency food for them. That's breakfast, lunch, dinner and snacks. So this morning we're just packing up the bags ready to go out through our charity partners and also down to our referral centre at Castle Arcade.
The reality is for many in our city that they have no idea where the next meal might be coming from. We have people who are living on less than £3 a day to feed themselves and their families, and that just isn't sustainable. But much more than that, when any type of poverty sets in, one of the first things to go is that sense of dignity, that sense of I'm significant and valuable as an individual. And we see our job not just as meeting those physical needs, but actually restoring dignity, actually speaking life over people and encouraging them to seek hope and a different future. And we find that when we can do that, then some of our partner programs and partner agencies work much better in terms of helping people engage with back to school programs or back to employment programs or debt management programs. All that stuff works better when people are living with a sense of dignity and a sense of hope.
through the winter period, the need would definitely increase. We're finding a lot of people who wouldn't be able to afford to heat their house, or they might spend their money on heating and then not be able to afford to buy the food. So it's a big issue for people. Also, you find in the run-up to Christmas, everybody wants to provide for their kids and get them their presents and things, but that might leave them quite short, or they might have got into debt issues through doing that. So we're definitely busier coming up to Christmas and through the winter period.
We do tend to see an increase year on year of those using us, but then we become more known year on year as well. I'm certainly seeing poverty as a real and acute issue in our city. And we still have people in our communities who are incredibly vulnerable, and whether that's one or thousands, we still want to exist to serve the one. And so we'll stay for as long as the need is.